Well, hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. This is the latest, the greatest 2023 Scott Scale 940 mountain bike. In this episode, I'm going to give you the buyer's guide for this hardtail mountain bike. So we can kick off with answering the question, who is this bike for? So you see, Scott Scale platform is an absolute legend when it comes to hardtail mountain bikes. So if you like, going off-roading, even competing in cross-country mountain bikes, then definitely you should consider the Scott Scale platform. They are extremely good cross-country mountain bikes, and usually Scott Scale mountain bikes, specifically in this hardtail edition, come very light in my opinion. So when you look at the paint scheme on this bike, there are basically two paint schemes to choose from. One is this beautiful, in my opinion, red, classical red with a hint of black paint scheme. And then you have another paint scheme, which is a totally blacked out paint scheme. I would say that you should definitely go with this red paint scheme because, as you know, as they say, red is the fastest color, and this beautiful red and black is such a classical example of a good paint scheme. When you look at the retail price of this bike, it is $2,300, and I think it's a very interesting price point. I don't think this bike is anything as heavily overpriced, and I will give you at the end a comparison with another cross-country mountain bike that I recently made a video about, so you will see where this price stands in the big picture of all the pricing. Okay, so now we can dive into the specifications of this bike and really see what do you get for $2,300. As always, we can kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So the frame is the carbon fiber HMF level carbon fiber frame from Scott. So this is not their highest level of carbon fiber, but this is what you get in this price range. Also, with this carbon fiber frame, you have a bit of internal cable routing. There is a BB92 press fit bottom bracket, and also I will mention here that there is a 12 millimeter axle at the back, and also 15 millimeters axle at the front. This carbon frame from Scott comes with their 5 years warranty, and this is an area where I wish that Scott would increase their warranty to at least, I would say, like some other manufacturers that can do a lifetime warranty. That would be, ideal option for these carbon fiber frames. Okay, do I have any complaints about this carbon fiber frame? Absolutely not. Again, from my experience riding some of the Scott Scale bikes, usually these carbon fiber frames come very light. Now let's talk about the fork on this bike. So you are getting a RockShox Judy silver fork. So this is a solo air fork, 100 millimeters of travel. It has a 15 millimeters quick release axle, and also I will mention here that it has a rebound adjustment on the fork. Excellent stuff. And you will have a two position lockout on the fork, so fully opened and fully locked out. As I said, 100 millimeters of travel, perfectly fine for any cross-country activities and off-roading and racing. And also the legs of this fork are 30 millimeters in diameter. It's a classical RockShox workhorse, RockShox Judy, and again in this price range of about $2,500, you can't expect anything special. So RockShox Judy, totally fine fork, no problems here. Just make sure that you service the fork once per year, and then this fork will last many years. Okay, now let's talk about the group set on this bike. So this is interesting. So this group set is a 1x group set. So what does it mean? So at the front you have a single chainring. There is no front mech, and then you have one shifter and the rear mech. So starting from the rear mech, you will get a SRAM NX Eagle 12-speed group set. This is paired with the SRAM SX shifter, and also the crankset is the SRAM SX Eagle crankset, a 32-tooth one chainring at the front, and this is also paired with the cassette at the back, which is SRAM SX 1150 cassette. So when you look at this 1150 cassette, paired with the 32 chainring at the front, you definitely won't have any problems in, climbing any steep mountains and going off-road. And if you feel a bit stronger, you can always upgrade this front chainring to, for example, 34 tooth chainring. But then, of course, you'll need a bit more strength to climb some steeper mountains. I will just briefly mention here that the chain is also the SRAM SX Eagle chain. And when you look at the SRAM group set of mountain bikes, basically SX Eagle is the lowest group set. Then above that, you have the NX Eagle. So this is a bit of combination of NX Eagle rear mech, and then the shifter is SX Eagle, and also the crankset is SX Eagle. As I said, the press fit bottom bracket is the SRAM Dub PF92 standard, 92 millimeters. Totally fine. I'm not expecting any creaking noises here. And generally speaking, about all this SRAM 1 by group set, again, no special complaints from me. It is going to work perfectly fine. I would just mention here that when you look at this cassette, this PG 1210 cassette, this is the cassette that once when you need to replace it in the future, be ready to pay approximately $100. So usually SRAM cassettes, can be a bit on the pricier side, but then again, you don't replace it so often unless you are really racing cross-country mountain biking. Then okay, then you might be replacing cassettes, and chains easily, once per year, no problem, or a chain even 2 times per year. Again, if you are upgrading or changing anything in the future, I would always advise you to stick with the SRAM chain, SRAM cassette, and the whole group set, just because of the compatibility with another parts of the group set. Okay, now let's look at the braking system on the bike. You will get the Shimano's MT200 hydraulic disc brakes, and they are paired with the Shimano's RT10 center lock rotors. So 180 millimeter braking rotor at the front, and then 160 millimeter braking rotor at the back. So these are very, very basic Shimano's hydraulic disc brakes. And let's say in the future, if you feel that braking power is not enough or modulation is not good, then I suggest you to go ahead and buy Shimano Dior braking system with the Shimano Dior braking rotors. As it is now out of the box, perfectly fine in my opinion, considering the price range of this bike. So definitely use it and destroy it, and then think about upgrading anything. Also, when you look at the smaller pieces like the handlebar and the stem, so this is Syncros aluminum handlebar and also Syncros aluminum stem. Syncros is an in-house brand of Scott, so these aluminum pieces are perfectly fine. Nothing is proprietary here. You can easily adjust the position on the bike, and also if you need to replace anything in the future or upgrade, super easy. As I say, no proprietary pieces here. When you look at the seat post and the seat, so the seat is Syncros Belcara seat. As always, seats are a bit of a personal preference, but it's easy to upgrade and change if you really want. And this seat post is 31.6 millimeters in diameter, and this is an aluminum seat post. So here a little tip: if you want a bit more, the smoothness of the bike ride and a bit more, let's say, a lighter seat post, you can always buy a carbon fiber seat post, but this is like really, I would say, almost like a luxurious item for the future. So don't stress too much about it. This aluminum seat post is going to be perfectly fine. Now let's look at the wheel set of this bike. So what do you get? So this wheel set is a classical combination of Syncros X30 aluminum rims, which are tubeless ready, but you will need to turn them into tubeless wheels. So buy a tubeless valve and a tubeless tape, and they are paired with the Formula hubs, both front and the back. As I said, at the back 12 millimeters axle, and at the front 15 millimeters of a quick release axle. So this wheel set, as it is, very standard aluminum wheel set, definitely expected to be around 2 kilograms. And this is also a nice item in the future for upgrading. When you destroy this wheel set, I would suggest you to have a look at DT Swiss wheels, their mountain bike wheels. They have excellent aluminum wheels, and DT Swiss reliability of their hubs and easy to service. So definitely, for the future, have a look. And this wheel set is wrapped in Schwalbe Smart Sam tires, excellent tires, 2.35 inches both front and the back. Of course, this is a 29-inch wheel, so in my opinion, excellent tires. And definitely in the future, if you are replacing a tire, keep it at this good volume at 2.35 inches wide. And luckily, Scott is giving here a total bike weight for this bike. I'm guessing in some kind of size medium. So this is 12.7 kilograms, which I consider, very competitive cross-country mountain bike weight, again, considering the price range where it sits. So what would be my advice to you, since you know that the retail price is $2,300? I truly believe if you like, hardtail mountain bikes, you like to go off-roading, you should definitely shortlist this Scott Scale 940 mountain bike and definitely test ride it, because I think you could be surprised how good this hardtail cross-country mountain bike is. Also, I will mention here, when you look at some of the competition, you definitely have to consider Canyon, and their Canyon Exceed CF5 hardtail mountain bike. I recently made a video about this bike, so you can find it in my library. And the retail price of this bike is $2,000, so $300 cheaper. And it's a very, very similar build to the Scott Scale 940 bike. So now it's just a question, what's your preference, or maybe what is available in your region. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!